Okay, today we're going to learn how to create and make your own wall art. This is pretty much where I started when I first started making printables. It's a lot of fun and it's very, very simple. I know a lot of people kind of get overwhelmed when I just think about trying to create something, and I'm not a creative person in that sense. So the things that I've created, I've just kind of built upon things that I've learned. So just getting on here and having fun and playing with different things is exactly what you need to be doing to get better at this. But it can be something simple. This is a phrase that my grandma used to say, and so I've turned it into a wall art and I printed it, and I don't have it hanging up yet, but it's going to be hanging up soon. You can do something, so that's just a simple text. I mean, you just play with the fonts and it's super easy to do. This one is a Bible verse with some clip art behind the shapes. Very easy to make, but it's very pretty, and it's just something that would look nice in, just about any style home. This one is a wall art printable I made for my In a Girl's World Etsy shop. This is just fonts and some shapes that I kind of tweaked until they were the way I wanted them to look. And I didn't use any graphics. This was just all from PowerPoint. All of these were from PowerPoint. And then this one here is just a quote that I found and some clip art. I mean, it turned out really, really cool, and a lot of people actually like this one. So this is something that, these are just things that I've done throughout the time frame that I've been making printables, and I love them. So let me show you. If you were to look up printable wall art on Etsy, I mean, you get a massive variety. I mean, there's quotes, there's just plain pictures here, there's landscapes, there's art. I mean, it's just anything and everything you can think of. And sometimes that's what I do, is I just get on Etsy, see what's popular, or see what are just the different designs out there. And it's very, it helps inspire you to get creative and try different things. Sometimes I see things that I think, I'm not sure I can make that, and challenge accepted. I go and try it, and it actually turns out to be a pretty neat experience, and I learn a lot. So this is something I want you to look at, trying to do for yourself if making your own wall art is something you want to do. I have a couple things to talk about if you are making wall art to sell, which we will get to that in a minute. But obviously, if this is just for you, have fun with it. Try different things. I use graphics all the time for my wall art. I've actually dabbled a little bit with making my own graphics, and I have some. They're really cool. I like them because it's something that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I made, and so I really like it. But there's just so many talented people on the web that you can get all their really cool designs. I love them. I buy from Etsy all the time and try all kinds of different designs and for my wall art. So this is one option. Obviously, there's tons of places you can buy graphics. The two that I buy are from Etsy, and then Creative Fabrica. Creative Fabrica is actually a place where I get a subscription. I pay a certain amount a month, and I get access to all of their files. So I love it because I can download as much as I want, which isn't always the best idea. I don't have as much storage space now as I used to. But you can get anything that you want. I mean, you can look here and find there's, let's see, it's got graphics, and it's got fonts and crafts, and I just mainly stick here for the fonts and graphics. But there's plenty of options. Lots to do, lots to look at. But if we're going to get started, I want to kind of show you just a kind of a real quick couple of tips for when I make it. First off, when you are making your own, you can make it however you want. Most people, when they make a wall art, they're going to start with an 8x10 size, whereas if you want to blow it up, you are going to want to start with a bigger size. So if you want to do like a 16x20, you're going to want to go into your design tab. You're going to go over to your slide size, custom slide, and you're going to change your font or your dimensions. So this helps when you go to print it and make it larger. Okay, one thing to keep in mind is that if you are making a printable that is a higher size, you are going to want a higher DPI, which is dots per inch. As a standard, PowerPoint has a 96 DPI, which is fine for regular 8x10 things that you want to print off. But if you were wanting to make a higher size, obviously you do want a higher resolution. So they recommend 300 DPI, and that is something you can manually adjust in PowerPoint. It is not something we're going to walk through now. It is not something that I feel comfortable doing a walkthrough with you. However, if you were to look up how to change your PowerPoint DPI, there are so many walkthroughs on YouTube or Google. Please just look it up and adjust that accordingly. But I'm just not comfortable walking you through that. I don't want to mess up anything for you. So, but that is something that you are going to want to adjust if you are wanting to print higher resolution photos, like or in large sizes. So now that you have your slide size 16x20, we can jump right in. I'm going to show you a super quick wall art that you can throw together, and just to show you just literally how quick and easy it can be. So I have a file here for hold up. I have a file here for some of my Creative Fabrica, and we're just going to pull up my sunset flowers, and we're just going to pick a design here. Now obviously I want this to be a full-size wall art, so I'm going to pull it down to the edges. Now the only problem is here, it did overlap the edges. Now if you see here, when you go to print it, it's not going to show. It's only going to show within the dimensions. But just for the sake of seeing where we're going to line everything up, I'm going to crop this image down to what I see here. Okay, so how to do that is, if you're not already have your crop picture or your crop option open, you're just going to double click on the image you want to crop. It should pop right up. Click on crop, and then you just drag it down to the sides here, wherever your dimensions end there. Okay, so now that you see it can even move it around within that parameter that you had set up. So I'm going to pull it all the way over because I kind of like where the sun is there. And then we click off it, and now we see exactly what we will be printing. So the only thing that I would add to this is just a little bit of text. And this picture looks like it needs just a gentle reminder. So I'm going to type this in. I'm going to change the font color to white. Make it a lot bigger, and then I'm going to, we're going to just change it here, and actually I'm going to make this a little more laid back looking. Okay, so this needs to be just a little bigger, bring it down just a little bit, and I don't know why, but I like that. So that's something that I would do. I would print that off and I would hang that up in my office or something to remind me, just take a minute and enjoy the view. So this is just something, it literally, the sky's the limit when it comes to wall art, but don't let it intimidate you. Don't let it daunt you. Try different things. Try and see what works for you. Like I said, when I showed you all the different things I've done here, these are just 4 of the options I've already done, and I've done so many of these, and there's so many different things you can do. This was just a quote I liked. That's some of my favorite things, are just writing out quotes. You can dress them up, with your clip art. You can make your own designs, which is what I did here, or you can use someone else's. So really, the sky's the limit. I showed you a couple places to kind of look at. You can go to Etsy and type in graphics or clip art, Creative Fabrica, go there and see what they have to offer, and just see what sparks your attention. Just grab something that speaks to you and play around with it and work with it and enlarge the pictures and shrink them down and just play with all the different elements that you have in your in that clip art bundle or whatever you ordered, and just see what you can come up with. And it's a lot of fun. I think the more you do it, the more you realize it's kind of addicting, actually. So I hope you come up with some great stuff. One more reminder, because I keep forgetting to remind you, is that when you have your item done, or at least, to a point where if you need to get off or something, save your work. Go over to File and save it. If you do not save your PowerPoint, you will not be able to go back to it. So it doesn't always remind you to save it. I don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes you don't. I have spent hours on a project when I first started working PowerPoint, and it didn't automatically save it. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you'll see it here amongst your most recent things that you've been working on, but not always. And that particular item that I had spent hours working on and did not save, it was not there, and I lost all that time. So save your work. Even if you just want to go back to it later on, or you think you're done, you never know. I always save a copy of whatever I'm working on, just because I don't know if I'm going to need it again or want to tweak something later. I always save a copy. So anyways, that's my advice to you. I hope I inspire a little bit of creativity, or at least to get you trying something that maybe you haven't done before. And I will see you in the next video.